Our fellow Nigerians, once again, it is George Onyibe. Of course, I am from Agbo in Delta State. There were times we thought being these things. You see, just like what what Chibuike Amechi said when he was asked, are you an Igbo man? He was first of all jumping up and down that he was an Igbo man. And honestly, anybody that is not Igbo and agree to be Igbo is doing it on one condition. And this is because they see transparency in that very cycle. They see reason why they should partner in that very cycle. But then they are very skeptical, very suspicious of the whole process. And so the same way they will tell you they are Igbo is the same way they will deny you. Watch Nedi Nwoko very soon. Watch Mbata very soon. The same full speed they are using to promote an agenda that is not their own is the same way they will run away. Just that in their own case, they will be ashamed to submit to reality, because reality will hit them. We were there. And that is why I start this morning by telling you that I am Agbo man, I am not Igbo man. So all those Igbo children born in my community who are now uniting their father and my mother on the expense of the generation of our people, you call sub-Igbo, on the expense of the people who, for some reason, choose to form alliance with you. Your mission is dead on arrival. But like I will always remind you, it is not hatred that drives us, but the need for us to survive and hinder these expansionists in every form from being able to take over our lives. I want us to look at the message I simply titled this morning. Institutionalizing our communities remain the only way forward. I have taken time to listen to newspaper review on different radio stations this morning. I look at the intents or the mindset behind the presenters. And I try to know what is happening on a daily basis across the nation. And believe me, we are part of those groups that have the desire to see Nigeria turn into a progressive nation. We have participated in so many angles to see that we are part of a successful nation. Nigeria is still a work in progress. But at every given time, we have discovered that the system has been compromised. The institution or trying to institutionalize Nigeria has been compromised. Nobody seems to be telling anybody the truth. People only defend what they benefit from. And the moment they don't benefit from them, they are ready to destroy even everything they have built, just to make sure their interest is protected. Example of what I'm trying to explain before we go into the real mindset behind institutionalizing our communities. Recently, there is a woman, whether they call her Salab or Abish. I don't want to know people like that. I don't want to know the name of any intellectual dishonest person, because they are the major problem of humanity. They were attacking Wike, because Wike problem or crime today is because he knows what you people know. And my Igbo people, we so near money he be money. Wike say he's not Igbo, so Biafra people must destroy him. Wike is in PDP, yet working with APC. You people must crucify him. Wike has a lot of record we don't agree with, so slaughter him. But that does not mean that this man on his own is a man that is genuine. Even in his worst mistake, go and follow this man up. You will see he is sincere and being true to himself. He has threatened to shut down many embassies in Nigeria. Because since 2014 till today, this supposed advanced world where most of you are running to for refuge, they are occupying properties belonging to Nigeria since 2014 and they are not paying house rent. Or is it land rent? Thousands of acres of kilometers of land are being occupied by foreigners who call themselves colonial master, who will not allow you to enter their compound, their state, their country, who will not allow you to have one. All of you in diaspora, you know how they chase you about unnecessary billing, newspaper billing, gas billing, telephone billing, custom billing, immigration billing, every billing. If you don't pay, they criminalize you, deport you or lock you up in the cell or blackmail you. But here they are in Nigeria, in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. They call themselves, what do they call themselves? Embassy my foot. And Wike, as the FCT minister, discovered that they, like some other sectors that they will hear their news later on, refused to pay house rent since 2014. And Wike threatened and said, I will shut you people down. I will not allow you people to continue occupying these premises, considering the fact that you people are owing Nigeria billions of naira. I know when that money is retrieved, Nigerians will not even feel the impact. But it's then not in the place of this supposed embassy to be acting as criminal in our country. I'm coming. But then, these embassies are yet to respond. But there is one woman who said her name is Sayubu, Abi Salabu, Abi Salami, I do not know, has jumped on to tell Nigeria, fellow Nigeria, we need to stop Wike. Wike should not stop any embassy because according to United Nations Charter, you cannot frustrate embassy in the international community of the Amnesty International and Indonesia. Rubbish. And I shook my head. This woman who is supposed to be in Nigeria does not care for the hardship Nigerians are going to. This woman who is supposed to be in Nigeria does not care about the fact that we are running economy driven by petroleum products, and yet it affects our life. This woman are not seeing the danger that lies ahead. She wants to be global figure, international woman. Go and look at all the people in diaspora insulting Nigerians on the platform of the colonial master. They are all Nigerians who do not care for how you behave. But then it's going to be good. She has quoted the law because they are the educated people, and they want you to attack Wike. But this is the truth. If Nigeria were to be a country that was properly institutionalized without compromising any process, that woman would have been arrested, interrogated, and then she must tell us why she's doing that. But we already know. The people who are collecting house rent from these embassies are the one who is sponsoring her because they believe she has a voice. And so they say, please, attack Wike, attack Wike. Of course, Igbo Biafra people want to destroy Wike. We are waiting for you people. Attack Wike, he can't stop embassy. United Nations say, Amnesty International say, Orobo, World Bank, all of them say. What did all these organizations say when they have their embassy in our country who has not paid for land rates since 2014 till today, amounting into billion? This woman did not notice. Nigerians did not notice. But the truth is, if I tell you, there are some Nigerians collecting this money from the back door. And if Wike push further, names will begin to fall out. Names they will not tell us. But if Wike push further, names will come out. Who are the people collecting subsidy? You only know they remove subsidy. Subsidy is not good. Everybody is jumping up and down with subsidy. Who are the people collecting this subsidy? Does Nigeria not have the right to know who they are? And that is how some of them sit down in the government pavilion and then bought everything that belongs to Nigeria. And you don't know them. And they bamboozle all of us. And so now, somewhere along the line, this woman is want to calling out Wike. No, they must stop Wike. He cannot do that. But they never tell all these countries who have embassy in Nigeria to pay their land rates. How about that? Because somebody is collecting that money since 2014 from behind closed door. But come to think about it, maybe after all, Wike need his own share. And so if Nigerian had the mind to collect all this money, and then Wike should collect his own share, maybe that is what it's all about. Because the last time I checked, all the loot recovered, Nigerians has never felt its impact in any way. But let the truth be told. If there are embassies in Nigeria that are not paying their land rate, tenure rate, they have to pay that. It's a shame and a disgrace that those who ask us to be men of our word can't keep their word. It's a disgrace that those people chasing you across the globe to bring your visa, to bring your passport, interview you, all of them are not paying their house rent to our dear nation, Nigeria. But why will they walk away with all these things? Because Nigeria is not institutionalized. Why do you see we're facing many challenges we are facing today in Nigeria? Because Nigeria has not been institutionalized. Anything can bring us down. Anything can disorganize us. Anything can disorient us. Anything can frustrate us. And anything can send us back faster than we have ever tried to move forward as a nation. Because the institution or the process of trying to institutionalize our nation have been compromised. And they compromise it that very day. They judge Nigerians economically, religiously, and otherwise by the consent of idea you call Wazobia. Because whatever they do must favor either of them. And if it does not favor any of them, they will truncate the whole process. Don't get me wrong. Tinubu is a Yoruba man from the Wa section of the Wazobia. And then the Awosa, who is the Zoo, their body language is obvious. They are trying to romance with Igbo, which is the Bia. And what are they going to do? They will frustrate Tinubu. The same way, when Goodluck Ebere Jonathan, a minority, was there, it was easy for all of them, the Wazobia, to incorporate majority of the minority to fight with Goodluck Ebere Jonathan. And so the man was mesmerized. And that is how every politician, they fight their cross. Go and look at what Bia people under Biafra and Nnamdi Kanu did to Buhari. Buhari was dove-handed. I pity that man. I pity him honestly. Yes, he did answer he was a president. Go and look at what Igbo Biafra people did to him. He's a pedophile. He's a woman raper. He's a this one. Hey, look at his ear. And finally, he's dead, buried in a shallow grave. Igbo Biafra. Protecting the ultimate interest of... And so the institution was compromised completely. Because if you can't beat them, you join them. Believe me, with this mindset, there is no continuity of any project, whether it is good, whether it is bad. With this mindset, you cannot hope for a better future or nation in the nearest future. Because institutionalizing any society, any community, any nation, any organization, whether formal or informal, it gives birth to stability. It creates room for social order and steady or stable progress and development. In the absence of it all, we continue to struggle from one struggle to another. Nigeria, for instance, as we speak, does not have a target. They don't have a target that they must, before the end of this year, you, President, this is what you must achieve. They don't. You can see Tinubu going to congratulate Akpabio and giving him a national recognition. Whereas Akpabio office is supposed to checkmate Tinubu. And when the Tinubu, the presidency, is now giving them national award and honor, what are you expecting? But we are not going to judge them because this is the prevalent system. And it may be here for a very long time until all of us who call ourselves Nigeria will look for a way to institutionalize our country. But don't think that some regions have not been institutionalized already. I'm coming so that you will appreciate my message this morning. If, for instance, a president is given an option under the democratic setting, let us leave the military dictatorship who have ruled us under the guise of military coup to give us a better, less corrupt society. Let us assume since 1999 democracy dispensation to this very hour that every president was given a mandate to provide a certain standard of healthcare for Nigerians. And that person must make sure everything I am working for in these very 4 years, we must have standard health sector, at least across every state in Nigeria. You will see they will not be jumping up and down to create 1 million states just to create more minority, nothing more, nothing less. And then Nigeria at that instance would have had one of the best health facilities in the world. We used to. There was a time the president of Saudi Arabia was sick. It was Nigeria they flew him to for treatment. But how has a lot of things changed? And so we have president all these years who come in, their manifesto, what they tell you they will do in 4 years. Believe me, under normal circumstances, they will not achieve it in 200 years. But they're not there for their election manifesto. They are there to collect their own national cake, period. Who checkmates them? Who questions them? Who reviews their manifesto? Who asks them how far they have been able to perform? And so it's not about what they are going to do for the people. It's about what they can steal from the people to this very moment. Because we are not institutionalized. You go to Malaysia, you go to Singapore, you discover how fast they are growing, how fast they are developing. Because in the federal government, for instance, project of these countries, if they have 4 regions and they decide to tie 1 kilometer in every region, they will make sure it goes across the 4 regions. They make sure the development is evenly driven. Nobody is majority, nobody is minority. And no wonder places like Singapore, Malaysia, they're looking very neat, very advanced, very coordinated. And of course, they are progressing. Here in Nigeria, if you had said, this president, in the next 10 years, you must build the electric sector, you will understand that there are people who have the technology already locally to create a safe renewable energy. That you'll not be talking about all this NEPA, that, Nigeria Houdin, and all these things. Nobody will be talking about it. We talked about gas to buy. They stole money. Where is the gas to buy? They will tell you cock and bull story. They will tell you they're going to carry out 1 million projects in one sitting government. And at the end, they will not achieve anyone. And if they manage to achieve anyone, their predecessor will come and destroy it, or abandon it, or replace it. And then we start all over again. And yet they want that person, or that country, or that organization to grow. And all these things is being made possible because Nigeria is not properly institutionalized. But let's look at regions that are properly institutionalized. And so you'll be able to appreciate my message to you this morning. Ikure people, Eka people, Bini people, South people, and then be coming down. You look at the Yoruba people, for instance. The Yoruba nation have been institutionalized. Sanwo-Olu and the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, had a fallout some days ago. And when Tinubu went to commission some project by Sanwo-Olu, he didn't even look at him. He shook everybody, talked to everybody, because this is our Yoruba land. He called the guy a bluff. Because somewhere along the line, they had a fallout. But understand, it's not about these two people. It's about the institution. And those who manage this institution you know nothing about must have called Tinubu. You can't do that in the public. It's not good. You understand our values. And they must have called Sanwo-Olu and say, my brother, you can't disrespect the president. Despite the fact you all of us are Yoruba. He's your elder. You can't lower down our value. And then, boom, Sanwo-Olu jumped to the social media, newspaper to be precise, issued a press communique that Tinubu is his father. Rightfully so. And now, you may not understand the gravity, the magnitude of the positive effect this have on the Yoruba people. Watch Yoruba people, every governor in Yoruba land, I mean the Southwest, there is always continuity. And when this governor from Ondo State finish what he's doing, the next governor, continuity. When the governor of Lagos stop on where they stop, the next governor, continuity. Look at their history as Nigeria. You will see, in rare occasion, will you see a sitting governor fighting its predecessor. You don't hear about it. And in few instances where it has happened, you will see this institution will weigh into the matter. These Yoruba people will weigh into the matter and diffuse the system. Everybody must understand it's not about them. It's about the Yoruba people. This is institution. And look at Lagos since Tinubu came, created a structure. Lagos State, despite the fact it was a federal capital territory, an economic base of Nigeria, but they have not remained in the same place. Because I'm sure if Lagos State makes more money more than River State or Delta State, it's going to be very minute. But if you want to measure the development between these two places I have called, the difference between them is like day and night. And now it's not about because it was once time a federal capital territory. It was because that state had been institutionalized. And so when Tinubu left, the next governor took over. When that governor left, the next one took over. It's this current governor I'm yet to see the impact or change he has made. We've not seen that. So the Yoruba people have been able to institutionalize their region. If you like, do from here till tomorrow. They are everywhere. And they are representing the interest of their people. But amazingly, it is not about them. It is about their people. And so when you have millionaires, they live very humble among their people and allow their people to be able to walk across the nation with their head lifted high. And so you don't hear people like Adenuga making noise and jumping up and down. So many of them, billionaires across the world, you will not hear them run because whatever they have achieved, it is not to undermine other people, but it is to create a system that will enable them to sustain steady development and social order. Institutionalization. And then you go to the north. They're not doing a very good job in lately. I think they are losing track from the institution created by Ahmadu Bello. Because now there is a bit of discrimination. There is a bit of, maybe they are metamorphosing. But the institution has injuring already. And so it's not a good example of what I should say. Let us learn from them. And then you come to the Igbo, taking advantage of these three major ethnic groups, supposedly. They have an institution that is under attack. They institutionalize the southeast region we call the Igbo people. And let me tell you whether you like it or not, they are in charge of the gateway of economic society of Nigeria. They control our economic stake in this nation. Nigerian economic gate is controlled by Igbo people, whether you like it or not. They achieve it by institutionalizing their region. The reason you see it shaking today is because of arrogancy exhibited by some of them, like Nnamdi Kanu. Criminal-minded people looking for Biafra and uniting their father. The structure is fracturing as a result of people who say they are obedient movement, jumping up and down. Did you hear what P2B said? I was listening to his comment on radio yesterday. He said, I have constantly said it. If I was the president of Nigeria, I would have removed subsidy. Everybody has said, yeah, it's true. He has said it. It's in his manifesto. But the presenter was an Igbo man. He was actually using that radio station to hyper and pop up P2B. It's not an issue to me. And then he moved on to say, I would have done things differently. And so Tinubu removing subsidy is what everybody would have done. But then he went to fault Tinubu that the pattern Tinubu used to remove it was fraud. Tinubu, as I know, I will agree with P2B, because he pushed us into emergency suffering. But they say the end justifies the means. Let us see where he will leave us after 4 years. And then we will learn from the next leaders. But who would have actually known, if P2B was there, that he will not be like a rat eating us and blowing us? And then you live in a mirage world where you think the problem is being solved, but they are managing you. Somebody who is going to die is going to die. But somehow along the line, some doctors will put you on oxygen just to be making money, keep you partially alive. And your people will say, he's still alive, but he's in coma. He can't talk. Let's be praying to the Almighty God. And when they see you are going to die in the next 24 hours, which they know already you will die in less than 3 months before they put you on oxygen, they will now say, you can take your relative to the house. We have tried our best. You can try local. Once doctor tell you that thing, no, that is the end of that person. All those times they were camping you in the medical facility is to see how much they can steal from you. And so the institutionalizing of the Igbo people is attacked by criminal-minded individuals. They're not seeing it yet. They're living in the past glory. Arrogancy cropped in, and it is faulty. And that is why, unlike the Yoruba people, you will not see any of them telling you, Watana money. You will not see them kidnapping their people. Of course, they have kidnapping. Very few, because if those few are caught, they will understand what it means to be a Yoruba person, institution. This does not only help you to be stable, it helps you to create social order. Imagine if, for instance, we adopt the pattern of Yoruba institution, which no, all of them are not always fairly, but they create allowance for each other's faults. They create enabling ground for everybody to thrive. But they enable you to understand as well that do not allow your right to encroach on the right of another person. You can see when Sunday Igboho was messing up, they stage managed him and locked him in Benin Republic. And when they released him in Benin Republic, he came back home. And then he forgot what he was told to do. He started jumping up and down. And then they called him and said, bro, you cannot continue doing this, or else we will leave you to be on your own. And he moved to London. And he's in the UK, living his life, jelly. But who doesn't Nnamdi Kanu listen to in Igbo land? Because their institution has been compromised. Sooner than expected, they will crash if they fail to listen to us. Because some of them think we are their enemy. We actually envied them. Let's say we jealous them. We love what they were doing. We wanted to learn from them. But it has gotten into their head. And that is why they can come out and tell you, Igbos are the most intelligent tribe in Nigeria. Igbos are the richest tribe in Nigeria. But their land is barren. And they are not doing it as if it's normal. They are doing it to spite on other people. They don't have institution. They create only enemy, nothing more, nothing less. Igbo Biafra people, drop your insult. Because there is no story you tell without talking about the touches. And that is the case of Nigeria. Igbo Biafra person must be there. And now, having said all these things, let us leave Nigeria now and look at the kind of organization that has been institutionalized. If you look at the Catholic Church, for instance, I have said it time without number. The body of Christ, they are institutions. Even in their denomination, they are institutions. The Anglican Church had their institution. And so when one king of UK, the order of the Anglican communion in the UK, started misbehaving and bringing in gay and transgender into the body of Christ, those in Nigeria broke out immediately. But Anglican Church still remain Anglican Church. And so you begin to hear the diocese of Evo, the diocese of Niger Delta, the diocese of up and down. They were trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. So you know the ones that are doing that. Since they want to marry man and woman to marry woman, and then forbidding from answering whether you are a male or you are a female by your constitution. That is because they have institution. But then they are not a good example to emulate. You move to the Catholic Church. They have the highest institution in the whole world. Stronger than even the education institution, because they back up every institution, whether in favor or against. Is it not amazing? The Pope will go to Saudi Arabia and shake the Imam in Mecca, and it looks as if they do not have conflict in their religion foundation. And then they go to the native doctor, they behave like the native doctor. They go to the Hindu, the Bandus, the Rambish, the Robo, every religion. And they accept everyone. And you think this is what they want? Do you know how many years till tomorrow morning a lot of people are attacking Catholic method of worship? Holy Mary, Mother of God, going to pray for infant Jesus and so many other things. And these doctrines still stand till tomorrow, and millions of humanity, Homo sapiens, still follow them despite the criticism on this very system. No, it's not miracle. It is wisdom. It is the ability to knowing when to institutionalize something for it to survive. And now in the early centuries, when Catholic Church, where the disciples handed over the church to the Catholic Church, which actually means the Universal Church. And a lot of things happened in those era. It was about 400 or 500 years later, Islam came. And one of the major problems between Islam and Christianity was bettered by the image that are present in Catholic worship centers. Muhammad refused to accept that any image could be placed according to the law of Moses. This led to a series of religious war that gave birth to the Crusaders and the Musketeers and those deadly people who fought to defend the church. But the Catholic Church was not just fighting to win the war. They were fighting to survive. They were fighting for all of us to win. And so today, you look abnormal when you begin to talk some of these things because everybody already knows it's true. And our faith differs. And so we have come to a place where we are more mature enough to respect Celestial Church because they are Celestial Church. You respect Catholic because they are Catholic. You respect Pentecostal because that is who they are. You respect Muslims and you respect every religion, tradition because this is who they are. Somebody created that institution. And now going back to the Catholic Church. Under this attack, you begin to hear about religious reform. The foundation of the Catholic Church shook. And they knew if the process is not institutionalized, they will go down the drain. And so what did they do? They sent intellectual people, intellectual honest members, and say, go and find out what our fault is. They joined the people. They heard what you said. The first of all, they studied the weakness of those around them. And then according to church history, they knew that the church reformation that was going to destroy the Catholic Church had one weakness. The major weakness is, how do I put it in grammar? This exorbitant desire for worldly pleasure and care. I don't know how to put it in single term. But they discovered that Pentecostal pastors love pleasure. They love chop money. You see, all of them have private jets. And most of them that are poor have issue with their family. They need money to pay bills. They are distracted. And it was a limitation. It was a hindrance. It was a challenge. And it's still till tomorrow morning. And then they created the order of the celibate that gave birth to the nuns and the monks. It was not always there. And then they said, we want men and women who don't want to have children. You are going to be our fathers, our leaders. And we know most of them are married. They have families doing well, but it is unofficial. And so the reason is simple. Why they allow celibated man to be Reverend Father. It's simple. They don't want to hear. They ask you, go to this remote village and preach Holy Mary or Jesus Christ. And you say, my son is sick, without transfer me. No. As they call you, availability. They solve that problem. Christianity or Pentecostal is still struggling because of family matter. Look at Christ Yakilome. Look at what the wife did to him. A woman you love, you call your wife. People envy both of you. Everybody want to be like Pastor Chris and the wife. Look at what Anita Baker did to Christ Yakilome. You will never hear this history from Reverend Father. Okay, let's leave these people. It's their private life. But I'm trying to create a picture so you understand what is institution. And then another report came and said, we notice that some of our members are complaining that they are traditionalists. Don't you think we should see how we can accommodate everybody? After all, the ark is built big enough. Because when you talk about the ark of Noah, to most of you, it's about Noah building an ark to save the world from being destroyed by water. But you do not know this a message passed forward to you in coded form. Be waiting for the ark of Noah. You will wait for a very long time. I'm sorry, we have access to information we should not have access to. We have to remain humble in order not to misuse it. And so the Catholic Church understands this ark. We must make rooms to accommodate everybody. Institution. And what did they do? They created the order of St. Mulumba. And when you see them, there are more of traditional people. And so today, a native doctor can leave a shrine and go to the order where he belongs. But it did not end there. And then there are some another groups that felt, no, I love praying. I'm a prayer warrior. But what we do in Catholic, we don't pray very well. But believe me, they have a room for them in that ark. because the Ark is an institution, and they said it's okay. Charismatic renewal came up. It almost broke Catholic Church. And because they have an institution, they were able to incorporate everybody back. Today we have the charismatic renewal movement. If you stay in their midst, I bet you will never know it's a Catholic church. They preach like the apostles, which they are. They pray like the prophets, I can assure you. And so they have different order. And today they look invincible. You talk about business. They have business across the globe. You have no idea. Go and look for the owners of the church gate, the bishop gate, all this company with gate. Go and begin to look at the owners. You will know these people are not into preaching of the gospel already. They control business empire. You have no idea. And so today, the Catholic Church are the owners of the smallest country in the world, but yet one of the most powerful country in the world. They call it the Vatican City. Less than 3 plot, I should say. Exaggerating anyway. And this is because they lasted, they succeeded, they survived from era to era, from the Romans to Macedonian to Patestinian to Babylonian to Arabatarian, wherever they set their feet upon this path, they succeeded every world empire. And they are still here. And they are still here. Going strong on a daily basis. Stability. Now, it's not as if they are perfect. They have a target. They have a goal. They have organized the method to attain to that level. They don't go back. Instead, they go more forward. And they are ready to embrace change. But it is not about the Pope. It is about how the system will continue to survive. And now this is where I decide to make this broadcast to the people of South. We can do saga on social media. We can expose the hypocrisy of those who say we are Igbo, knowing we are not Igbo. We can confront their righteousness and put them to the test to see if truly they are God as they claim to be. But to what end? To what end? And I'm here every day trying to broadcast, trying to point you to the signals and what they represent. To what end? I'm not, I'm not a content creator. And what I'm doing on my platform, none of them is monetized. I discovered in my TikTok, I think I have some dollars there. But I don't even know how to withdraw it. And I'm not interested in withdrawing it. But of course, let it be there. One day it may solve somebody's problem. But I don't go live on TikTok yet. I did it the period that I actually wanted to test the platform. And I've seen its advantage and I've seen its disadvantage. And I know what I want. It is bigger than TikTok. It is bigger than Facebook. It is bigger than all the social media that I know. And when the right time comes, you will understand. And so whatever we are doing now, my brother, charity begins at home. If we cannot institutionalize our own communities, we can never be in control of our life. Economically, you will not control your space. Religiously, you will not control your space. Traditionally, you will not control your space. Everything that your ancestors labored for will be taken from you before your very eyes. Look at how confused most of our elders are. Look at how confused most of them are. Because we have not been able to institutionalize our place. In a time like this where there are some Igbo Biafra everywhere distorting history of our people. If we had institution, all our kings are supposed to be calling message through the chiefs, through the community leaders, through fathers, family representatives. We have such in our family, in where I come from. We have people known as Ede and the rest of them. Diopara and the rest of them. They have their capacity to pass information to every family, home and abroad. If we were institutionalized, we would have been able to take this challenge officially to them. They have councils of monarchs. They would have been able to call meeting and think about it, consider it. But we don't have institution, and it is not affecting their throne. It has not affected their family member. And somehow to be accepted, you don't need to run on the offense. And so let it remain that way until it is too late. But am I faulting them? No. I'm only trying to make them understand that there is fire on the mountain and nobody seems to be running. Now there is need for us to institutionalize our communities by way of trying to create an atmosphere where there will be social order, where there will be development stability, growth stability, where we cannot be harassed and mesmerized in our land, where we can take advantage of what we have, make proper use of it, and then become who we're supposed to be. Where we can be able to teach our people to live a normal life. But you ignore these processes. The enemy of your people are teaching your people to do that. Look at all the countries in Africa, most especially under the French colony, who are currently trying to pull out under the yoke of the Francophone. Look at the people going to attack them. In fact, check Africa, from Charles Taylor and Samuel Doe. The same people, one agent of the West, one fighting for the people. Look at the issue of Nelson Mandela. We know what played out there. Look at the issue of the ones ongoing. Who are the people coming to threaten the people? What about Gaddafi? What about Osama bin Laden? What about these things? If they were able to institutionalize the process, it would have become invincible. Our fathers in the Midwestern region, in Bender State, was able to institutionalize the process. But the secret of that survivor was not handed over to us. And those who have those ideas are still there. But it's almost too late. They cannot talk because they fear the unknown. And Nahuru cannot talk. And now he can't talk anymore. Ambrose Sali could not speak. He had to die as a blind man because they say he's an armed robber. A governor who didn't have a house till he died, stole money, and he was locked up. They released him when he became blind. But he can't talk anymore. Ukochiebo cannot talk because they were criticizing him that he was eating money, wearing flute garment. But he didn't steal their money. But he cannot talk. Obomudia cannot talk because he's no more here. Dennis Osadebe, if he was here today, his body language will change. And I'm sure Professor Pat Otomi is not as spoken as he used to be. I think the energy has changed. And there are people who know what they're supposed to know. They lose their voice. And I'm sure Adam Oshimole is still alive, but he will not speak up. What about Lucky Benedio? They will not speak up. What about Okowa? They will not speak up. What about Iburi and Iduan? They will not speak up. And Alko Alamis here is dead. Should I begin to mention? These people had access to the truth. What did they do with it? Goodluck Ebere Jonathan, as we heard, allegedly, is coming from one of the Nigerian dailies, that he called the immediate president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and said to him, before June 12th, they said it was a telephone conversation. Reinstate Rivers State governor in the spirit of democracy. Because honestly, it is unconstitutional, as far as I can check. But let us assume, by his extensive knowledge of leadership based on structure, he took that step. And then that means Goodluck was a fool. Chibuike Amechi would have been suspended, and all the 7 governors that put themselves to attack Goodluck Ebere Jonathan, all of them would have been suspended, and their state declared state of emergency. That is because he's a progressive-minded man. But his hands are tied. But at least he make a move. And I'm believing that before June 12th, the president would have thought about it. Sam Fubara would have humbled himself. And Chibuike Onyesun Wike would have been able to understand that it's as simple as that. And if I go beyond this, I'll be seeing what I'm not supposed to see. But if you're able to look at the scenarios I have created, you should be able to know what we need to begin to do for our people and to do for ourselves if we will be able to maintain social order and stability when it comes to development of infrastructures and human capacity. I'm still George Onyibe, and it all boils down to one thing, and one thing alone. This journey starts with a platform that must be created. And there are people coming together, and we have started working out something. But I beg you in the name of God, don't come for what you are going to get. But believe me, everything you are going to invest, you will get it back hundredfold. Because you will build people that will make you invincible. You will build a society that will never forget you. They may choose to ignore you, but everything around them will point to the sacrifice you have made in a particular day. Check Nigerian history. There are people like that. When you talk about the independence of Nigeria, it is the blood of those people murdered in Enugu coal mine that provoked all Nigerians. So their blood was a major seed that was sowed for Nigerians to be able to come together and fight for independence. Because Yoruba, Hausa, Bini, Igbo, everybody knew that this could have happened in Enugu, but it could also have been in Sokoto. But they lost the part, I should say. But who talks about the Enugu coal miner anymore? No, if they want to talk it, people like Nnamdi Kanu and his group of animals will tell you, is Nigeria key there? Oyibo hate us. They don't tell you the positive part of that journey. Ambrose Ali was arrested, charged for corruption by militaries. He was locked up. And by the time they released him, he has gone blind. I've said it before. He stayed in Abo for a very long time, though he's an Asian man. And it was when he died I knew he's not Abo man. I was thinking he's Abo man because he spent most of his life in Abo. He said the family, to be precise, for those of you who know Abo. And then they want to go and bury him. Lo and behold, a governor don't have a bungalow. And the people was like, no, this is an insult. They suspended the burial and built him a bungalow for the honor of his name. And we hardly remember him. But it is on record that there will be no Uniben without Ambrose Ali. That about 99.9% of every academic institution, everything Edo and Delta State are boasting of is the handwork and the legacy of Ambrose Ali. Deal with it. But he's a corrupt man. But so when you are coming to be part of this system, understand that I do not know much about Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. But looking at his picture alone, you see transparency, you see sincerity, and you can never be happy with the people who killed him. But it's an Hausa man. I want you to take the picture of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Look at his eyes. You will know that man was a man. Look at the picture of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and look at the picture of Yaradua, President Yaradua. Look at their eyes. If you are spiritually inclined individual, you will know these people are pure. They are pure breed from wherever they come from. Look at Goodluck Ebere Jonathan's eyes. Your eye will not deny you. And so that is just it. But at the end of the day, everybody who has started this process, you will be remembered. And those of you from the South, most especially from Midwestern region, those they call sub-Igbo, be free to talk to me. It's just a leak. We are coming together already. It is simple. We have to put our house in order. If our house is not in order, how can you be putting Nigeria in order? Who gives you the power? But let's stop at that. I'll go to my comment section, receive some insult, and so I can bring the broadcast to an end. You are free to inbox me. I'll give you more to idea of what you have on ground. But it has started already. Yes, who are the insulters? Because I know who they are. I see different Blackie. He say, welcome back. George Onibe, sir. I'm one of good fans. Well done. More strength, sir. We are the wounded civilians, family, different Blackie. I'm here. Of course, maximum respect. Different Blackie, maximum respect. And then I see Uyi. I greet you, Uyi. Good morning. I see Stanley. You say Ogogoro is bad. That is Tibo Biafra man. But when they are forming their own union, Ogogoro was not bad. When Nnamdi Kanu take drug and come and curse his father and say, "Oh, below Bondowa Borono, Ndibo Bondowa Borono," it was not Ogogoro. But we already know your type. By their statement, you shall know the Igbo Biafra unity beggars. They are the major threat now against our ethnic groups. People of the South. Know this and have peace. I see Samuel Okuri. He say, we are who we are. Able to call. Nobody can control or reduce our identity. Samuel Okuri, thank you for this understanding. Of course, flesh and blood have not revealed it to you, but the spirit of our ancestors, I should say. Thank you very much. And then, who do we have here? It's Festus. Continue with your good work. Thank you, Festus. I see Israel, George Oniberibe. That is another Igbo Biafra person. By their comment, you shall know them. I see good luck. Good morning from here. And then I see Pretty Silver. He say your effort will feel the same way your useless Biafra feel. And I don't know who you're talking to, but the last time I checked, maybe he's talking to Biafra people anyway. Pretty Silver. Make your insult or your comment clear so I can be able to give you the accolade you deserve. And who is the next Igbo Biafra criminal? Because I love them. I love how they insult themselves. I see Larry. He say, hi George, keep the good work. And I think that is the much I can take for the morning. Share the broadcast. We're not going